Good morning. Heaven. What's heaven like? Well, I don't really know. I never been there. And I remember asking a kid once, how do you get to heaven? And the kid says, you have to die. Well, that's what we got to do to get to heaven. Christ came down from heaven and he told us what it was like in many ways. There was one theologian, and he said he thought of heaven in many ways. The streets are made of gold, the pearl gates, the mansions that are there, and he kind of perceived all these spires and things. And he says, yes, beautiful, but it seemed kind of cold, kind of official, kind of formal. And then he says, as the years went on, one of his brothers died, and then he began to think a little different about heaven. And years went on, another brother died, and he kind of thought, two of my brothers are in heaven. And then some of his friends began to die. And he says, it was then, he was older and one of his sons died. And he says, at that point, I felt part of me had already gone into heaven. And, he got older, another child died, another brother, many more of his friends. And he got to the point where he was saying, there's I think I know more people closely in heaven now than I do on earth. And really, that is what makes heaven heaven. It is who is there. And, we are laying up treasure in heaven, this sort of treasure of people. Of course, our Heavenly Father is there. Jesus has gone to heaven and is preparing a place for us. There was a story of a girl, and she was with her mother, who was very sick, and because her mother was sick, they decided that she would be better to stay with the neighbors. So they took her, put her with the neighbors so her mother could recover. But her mother died in that time, and the little girl was, they let all the funeral arrangements happen before they told the girl. But they brought her back to the home and hadn't said it to her, and she goes into the bedroom and says, Mama, Mama, and there's nothing, silence, and then into the kitchen, and it's silent, and then she's going around the house, where's Mama? And then they told her, Mama's gone to be with Jesus. And she was quiet, and then she looked around the house and just didn't want to be there, and went back to the neighbor's house, and then they made arrangements for her. But heaven is heaven because of whom's there, as a home because of who is there. And one of the things that we love about heaven is there is no sin there. There is no curse. There is no sickness. There is no sorrow. There is no dying there. And, in this world, we contend with those things all the time. A place, there'll be no hospitals, no pharmacy, no police stations. It will be a very different place, no prisons. Sometimes, people, they try to build a paradise here on earth. And the rich men, they, huge mansion, walls around it, great gates, and they have it all set like this. And it's got flowers, gardens, best food, best servants, best decoration, best furnishings, parties with famous people. But that paradise, what happens is the curse gets in under the gate. The curse climbs in over the wall. Cancer comes in, and what can he do? He can buy the best doctors, and but maybe they can cure it, maybe they cannot. Maybe sometimes in these cases the sons party Monday, party Tuesday, party Wednesday, and they become alcoholics, and the curse gets into the house. But there's no curse in heaven. And it is a paradise that there is no curse there. There is no sin there. There is no sorrow there. There is no crying. There is no sickness. And we delight in it because of that. There's one elderly couple, she was dying, and they were together, and she just she realized she was dying, there was a tear, and her husband, because of that, she's going to miss her husband, and he will be alone. Actually, she won't miss him when she gets there, but when she gets to heaven. But she will be alone, but she has a tear, and he says that will be the last tear. That will be the last tear you'll ever cry. He will wipe away all tears from our eyes, all the sad memories, all the bad memories. And we wait for that day when Christ will come. And it's just a wonderful place. And as we said, it is that who is there. that makes heaven heaven. But maybe we'll finish with this thought also is, and no, I think that's enough. It's let's lay up treasure in heaven, and let's tell people there is a place and there is a way, and Jesus, yeah, He is the way.